have to say anything? Do I even have to say anything? Look at you. Are you happy today? Did you wake up in a good mood? Cool. You and I are going to go for a walk, and then I'm going to go do the vlog, and then you and I are going to Breck's because we got to help Breck move some stuff. He's trying to empty out his house, and our presence is requested, meaning you as well. Do you want to go to Breck's house with me? You do. Okie dokie. Let's do it. Days with Jordan the Lion and Jaw begins now. Well, gang, what we're going to do today is we're going to head over to Hollywood Forever Cemetery, and we're going to talk about one of the most famous child stars probably of all time. Somebody we loved on the screen, but history tells us that not many people off the screen liked him. So we'll go talk about him, we'll go see him, and we're going to go help Breck load up a bunch of his stuff in a moving container so that he can move. Originally, I was supposed to be dropping off Jaw, I think, and I was going to head out to Nashville in the morning, but I noticed yesterday and the day before that the weather was looking like it was going to be kind of bad, and I just didn't want to get stranded or anything there. I have some other stuff to do when I get back from, or the days that I was planning on getting back, so I just decided to postpone that trip. So we're going to go help Breck move all of his stuff today and hang out with Breck. He's going to be gone pretty soon. He's I think he's planning on selling the house within a matter of weeks. And actually, the reason that I was going to Nashville is because Vicki Hamilton's going to be there. She's reading excerpts from her book at a some sort of event, and she wanted to show me around Nashville. But she also is friends with Johnny Cash, Jr., John Cash, I guess, basically, and he has the property and everything where Johnny Cash recorded his American recordings, that studio, the house that Johnny Cash and June Carter lived at, and Vicki was gonna take me out and show me around, but just like I said, the weather was looking so bad, I didn't want to chance it. But Vicki actually goes to Nashville quite a bit, so maybe we'll go meet up another time. See that little kid's four-wheeler up there? This is kind of a throwback into history, this apartment building. It kind of always reminds me of like the Golden Girls or something like that, but I always like this mosaic on the wall over here. The original Invader tile art. No, I love it. I think this stuff's great, so. Kind of surprised they haven't gotten rid of it, you know, just with times changing and everything. And then it actually follows all the way inside. You can see the sailboats and everything on the wall inside there. And what in the world are those? What a classic house, huh? Check out this building. It looks like they decorated it with like a fire alarm motif, doesn't it? The old Cosmic Love mural. I love it. It's like right out of the world of the Flaming Lips. Isn't it, Jaw? Right out of the world of the Flaming Lips. Color for your day. What art did you find, Jaw? Now here's an interesting little bit of unrelated history. When we were driving by here the other day, ending the tour, Scott Michaels pointed at that building. I actually never knew this, and he said, that building right there with the love mural is where Mama Cass was cremated. History around every corner in this town, I swear. So who we're looking for today, I believe, is just up here to the right. So today our vlog is on the Little Rascals, also known as Our Gang, maybe the most famous member of that group, which is saying something because on top of knowing Stymie and Spanky and Froggy and Pete, Buckwheat, probably no one was more famous than Alfalfa. Alfalfa was beloved for his heartwarmingly bad singing voice and his little sprig of hair that was always popping up. Alfalfa was one of the feature acts on the Our Gang Hal Roach series. Now Alfalfa, for being as beloved as he was on the screen, off the screen and during the filming, he was not liked at all. And they say that started from the earliest moments that anyone knew of him, from the first time the family came to Hollywood. I'm gonna tell you the story of what they say Alfalfa was really like. Now on set, Alfalfa wasn't the lovable kid that we all saw on screen. He was actually a pretty ruthless prankster. And how his family got their start was they came out here to Hollywood, went to Hal Roach Studios, and there was a cafe there that was open during the day, and the family went in there and started performing, and the next thing you know, Carl Switzer was now Alfalfa. Now, unfortunately for him, he was the breadwinner of the family, and I think maybe that went to his head, but then some say he was just a bad kid and just a bad person. He would ruthlessly prank the other kids on the set. He would carry nails around in his pocket and then stab them during takes. He would put itching powder on them. He would, they said one day when one of the cameramen made a comment about some of the scenes taking too long for him, he got so mad that when they came back from lunch, Alfalfa had shoved a bunch of gum in the gears of the camera so that they couldn't film for the rest of the day, and that the cameraman had to spend that time pulling the gum out of all of the gears. In one instance, the director of the Our Gang comedies, George Sidney, got so mad at Alfalfa because he was punching the kids during takes and he was just making life so bad that George Sidney called him over and said, "When you're 21, get in a cab, I'll pay the fare. Come find me. I want to knock your block off." Despite what a lot of child stars' careers were, where they couldn't get cast in anything, he actually did work again. He would be a few years later in the Gas House Kids, which was kind of similar to the Our Gang, except they were teenagers. And then he would also go on to be in one of the most famous Christmas movies of all time, It's a Wonderful Life. And he would be the character who opens up the gymnasium floor to drop Donna Reed and Jimmy Stewart in the pool. Now right next to Alfalfa is his father and his brother, and you can see on here there's some sort of device etched onto G. Fred Switzer's tombstone. That was the Switzer method. He was an inventor, and he eventually invented a weight loss machine, and you've probably seen it before, that little belt that people would step into and that thing would vibrate the pounds off of you. Yep, that was his dad. You'll notice also that he died just a year after his son Alfalfa, Carl. 1959. Now another one of Alfalfa's on-stage pranks that he would do that would infuriate both the cast members and the crew was one day while everyone was eating lunch, he thought it would be funny to go onto the stage and urinate on the lights. When they turned the lights on and started filming, all of a sudden that urine and the light and the heat and everything mixed together and made it unbearable to be on the soundstage any longer. They had to cancel that day's worth of shooting. Now eventually, because of his behavior and the way he acted on set, he was reduced to just doing bit parts, occasionally getting something a little meatier. In fact, one time they even tried letting him sing, hoping to capitalize on that Alfalfa charm, but he was no longer the adorable little kid that people thought he was and that they loved from the Our Gang series. They said that he was one to seriously hold a grudge though, and to show his anger, one of the cast members recounted in 1955 when the Our Gang movies went on to syndication and being on TV, all the cast members and all the people that worked on it were all brought together again, and as soon as Alfalfa saw his teacher, of course, when they were filming, they had to do 3 hours of school every day, and he didn't want to do it. He went into cussing out the teacher in 1955 at that reunion, accusing her of ruining his life. Now, he ended up, like I said, just doing bit parts and also working as a bartender and working as a hunting guide, which is why he has that dog on his headstone. And he was actually a hunting guide to Roy Rogers and Jimmy Stewart, which might be the way that he got onto It's a Wonderful Life. But sadly, the end came because of a hunting situation. Alfalfa, Carl Switzer, had borrowed a friend's hunting dog, and while he had possession of the dog ran away. He had to post a reward for the dog, and he offered $35. When the person that had found the dog came to meet him, Alfalfa paid the $35, and then they sat at a bar and drank, racking up another $15. And as a drunken Alfalfa thought about that $50, he decided that the man he had borrowed the dog from was responsible for that. He went over to the friend's house and confronted him, getting into a verbal argument, to which he pulled out a knife and threatened to kill the friend. The friend pulled out a gun and shot Carl Alfalfa Switzer. When it went to trial, it was deemed self-defense, and his friend walked. That was the sad end to Alfalfa. 1927 to 1959. Carl Switzer also made appearances in Cecil B. DeMille's 10 Commandments and also White Christmas. And Dale Evans, the wife of Roy Rogers, was Carl Switzer's one and only son's godparent. Alfalfa made his first appearance in the Our Gang series in 1935 and was dismissed in 1940 at the age of 12 and a half years old, almost 13 years old. Now let's go see if we can find where Alfalfa's co-star is buried, Darla Hood. Now I've never been here to find Darla Hood before, but I believe lovable little Darla is buried right over here. Okay, let's see if we can find her. Well, right up there at the very top is Darla Jean Hood. Now Darla was a member of the Our Gang Little Rascals crew for just about the same amount of time as Alfalfa. She made her debut in 1935, and then she left in 1941. Now what she did afterward was she went to high school, went to Fairfax High, and put together a little singing group. And once she had a little success with that, she ended up going off solo and ended up doing a lot of TV shows. She was a guest on Merv Griffin and all those like Jack Benny and Groucho Marx and all those kind of late night shows. She would be on there. She even released her own records. Yeah, she had quite a career outside of being a child star. She actually had a pretty successful career from 1931 till 1979. So she made her debut at the age of 4 years old. How about that? Well, now I think we're gonna head out of here and start heading towards Brooks Place. Next stop, Orange County. All right, we made it over to Breck's house. He's got his garage filled with things that are going in the pod, and yeah, he's making some headway. And there's his pod that he's filling up. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. They just drop these off outside your house. You fill it up, call them, and they pick it up and go put it in a warehouse until you find where you want it delivered to. Kind of a cool deal. Tell everybody you got sent inside because you couldn't stay out of the street. Every time I walked to a pod, you thought you needed to walk to the pod, so you got sent inside, didn't you? We're making a little bit of headway. We've got most of the big stuff all put away, so that's good. That's the main thing. See, there you can see it's getting a little bit more filled up. He wants to make sure there's enough room right here for the refrigerator and stuff. He's just keeping like a few bare essentials here. All right, we pretty much got this sucker filled up. It looks like he'll probably need another one of these at some point because we can't get everything in there, but you got pretty much everything in there. Most of the odds and ends. Yep, that's got a little bit of room, but the type of stuff he needs to put in there, there's not enough for that. Well, it looks like we got done just in time. It is just now starting to rain. Telling Breck we're gonna head out of here because the rain's starting and I want to go before the rush hour starts. I asked Ja who he wants to go with, me or if he wants to stay with Breck, and he's really thinking about it because of the cheese he's eating right now. As we drive out of Orange County, we're also running away from the rain, so that's good. When I get back, I have a date tonight. Cutting through downtown. Almost home. Doesn't look like it's rained a drop here. All right, my Kiss gear showed up. That voucher they gave me, yep, I ordered my stuff and it showed up. I actually got one of these for someone else, so that's why there's two of the same one, but I got one of those for me and one of those for me. Good stuff. Well, good evening, my friends. We are going to call it a night. I want to thank Taylor Lawson for becoming my newest Patreon. And I had a great night. We went up to the Griffith Observatory and went into the actual planetarium for the late night show, the planetarium. And I've only been once before and I loved it. And my date, she had never been, so she really loved it. She didn't know what to expect. Great time, but they don't let you film, take any photos or anything like that. So I wouldn't have been able to show you guys anyway. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this vlog on two of the, I don't know, maybe the most memorable members of the Little Rascals Our Gang bunch. Normally I don't like to do something that's real negative, but unfortunately that's just the story in Hollywood sometimes, and I hope sometimes people can learn from it. So yeah, learn by history, I guess, you know. And that unfortunately is what a lot of the interviews that you can find online or even in video form are. Just a lot of negative stuff about Carl Switzer. So have a great night, everyone. We will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.